Welcome back to Persona 5 Royal. I'm exhausted. It feels like my consciousness is about to fade away.
Hey, are you alright?
Hey, Sae.
Don't fall asleep until we reach our destination.
Okay.
Are you listening?
I'm trying to, but you're sounding really off. Could this be the effect of the drug wearing off? The memories I thought were gone are starting to come back.
Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening. I am.
Anyway, we need to talk about how to get out of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Futaba's monitoring of Akechi's phone has confirmed it. He did indeed have an ulterior motive.
It's on a completely different level than just that.
Not only was he trying to frame us, but he was the true culprit behind the mental shutdowns.
Well, yes and no.
His offer to assist us was simply a ploy to frame the Phantom Thieves and kill him. If we go into Sis's palace as he suggests, we'll likely be met by a large ambush of police forces.
To think he would be this far gone. I know now what it means to feel a chill down my spine.
I'm surprised you didn't have a chill down your spine considering the other stuff has happened so far. But yeah, they're right. Akechi's on a completely different level.
Furthermore, he wishes to bring a police squad from reality into the palace.
If the 8 of us can enter at once, it's not inconceivable to think a larger group is possible.
And considering that he's been involved with the whole mental shutdown, being able to use his persona and all that other jazz for much longer than what we have, it's entirely possible that he obviously knew more tricks, other ways, and a better understanding than a lot of us. Well, maybe, Futaba's mom would have more of an understanding.
He may even be able to bring in vehicles or other special pieces of equipment.
So, this really was just a setup to shift the blame onto us.
He made us go after Okumura. Then once we triggered the change of heart, he killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us he had seen the true culprit, but it was him the entire time!
The whole time he was working with Makoto's sister, he was really just some homicidal maniac. Come on, we gotta take that bastard Akechi down. Isn't that recording we got enough proof to do it?
No, Akechi is merely a tool. His orders come from elsewhere. The grand mastermind behind this all.
Connect the dots to the other party that is pushing all these orders, but the main thing that gets me right now is how are we going to get that proof?
An unimaginable fiend capable of arranging the murder of a suspect inside of a police station.
Unless we find out who that is, we will continue being targeted even if we defeat Akechi.
But what means do we have of learning his identity?
We'll have to make Akechi say it. Though once we do, that mastermind will likely eliminate us.
Well, there was that point where Akechi spoke to him on the phone and said his name. And if the bug that Futaba put onto Akechi's phone is still there, would have picked it up. It's just a matter then of getting the phone back and then having the well, no, because she would have the information, but how would that be admissible in court?
I think that will be the case eventually, regardless of whether or not we learn his identity. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is because we're an easy target to blame for his crimes. If he realizes that's no longer possible and abandons that plan, he may opt to kill us immediately.
Damn it. So we don't got a choice but to go with that bastard's suggestion.
But if we go into the palace like we're told, he'll get arrested, and then Akechi will kill him.
Palace. The palace.
What were you thinking?
Actually, there's something I'd like to say regarding...
Aha! We can use the palace to our advantage!
Oh gosh, Futaba. I love you in the way how your brain works.
What's this all of a sudden?
She figured it out.
There's a way. A way to get past Akechi and get the mastermind to lay off of us, all while learning his identity. Really?
You gotta be kidding me.
If he wants to kill the guy, why not let him? That is, inside of a palace.
Yes, we could have him kill the cognitive version, all the while believing he killed the real one.
Yeah, that's it!
It seems that's our only option.
And I'm just glad that Makoto's just smart enough. Well, not necessarily just smart enough, but she's able to pick up on what Futaba's thinking.
Listen close, everyone. I have a plan for how we can carry this operation out.
Ever since the death of their teenage leader, the Phantom Thieves have fallen silent. However, the police intend on continuing this investigation until the case is fully solved.
I wonder, would they have brought Sojiro into the loop? Maybe not. Oh, then my heart even goes even more out for Sojiro.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had to finish a few things at work. Where are they?
Oh, this is after the fact.
Waiting upstairs. Go tell him to come on down.
Oh.
I'm gonna fetch him.
You're her sister, correct?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then I can see Sayuri in the background too.
Makoto told me everything.
Oh, look at that smile.
Futaba-chan, I'm sorry that I caused you so much trouble this past summer.
It's ancient history now.
I find it amusing that everything just rolls off.
But man, that goddamn detective.
Look who's here.
Ah. Hey, you big bastard.
I can just imagine all the hugs and everything that happened off screen.
How have you been?
Pretty good. I mean, I died. Ghostly. I don't think this has any impact on anything, does it? I'm gonna have a sense of humor. Ghostly.
You're not floating.
Damn it. Where's the ropes? Where's the strings? Where's the invisible wire?
It truly is a relief to see your face.
I bet that moron Akechi don't even know we tricked him yet.
He probably does.
Still, how'd you pull this off? Isn't this guy considered dead?
You weren't told anything?
Well, I think that might be a little bit difficult just to try to keep Sojiro in the loop. And if you had too many people who knew what was going on, word might have leaked out somehow.
I heard my sister brought him here, though.
Yeah, she came over in a taxi, dumped him off, and told me to keep him safe. It was right after they announced he had died, too. Almost gave me a heart attack.
Oh, poor Sojiro.
I didn't have time to explain.
Hey, shouldn't we tell boss what really happened?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea to bring him up to speed.
We wanted to make our enemy believe the leader of the Phantom Thieves was dead.
What?
Oh, let Sojiro sit down. This is going to take a lot of explaining.
What we did was make that enemy kill his fake in the metaverse.
Hold on a sec.
Again, let him sit down. This is going to be too much for him to handle.
Enemy? Fake? What are you talking about?
Exactly. He's not going to understand. We've got to explain it to him step by step.
The true culprit behind all these incidents set us up. Our goal here was to determine their identity.
True culprit? I see. So you guys were going up against someone else.
Mm-hmm.
It was Goro Akechi. You knew beforehand that he was the traitor, didn't you?
Yes, he was too suspicious. Akechi messed up. He messed up.
Akechi himself gave us the chance to strike back. He made one fatal mistake.
He heard Morgana and talked about pancakes.
Couldn't you have just said from the beginning that Akechi was the real culprit?
No.
That wasn't something we could simply bring up.
It was a touchy situation.
We couldn't have you suspect Akechi.
Because then that make more problems.
Besides, neither you nor the other investigators would have believed something like that, would you?
This is true.
True. Akechi was credited with the arrest of the Phantom Thieves. Not even I would think he was the culprit. In other words, you left him alone on purpose. That was a bold move.
God, I can't keep up with any of this stuff.
Oh, poor Sojiro. We have to sit him down, explain this whole thing. And even with the explaining of everything, will he actually get it?
So what was this mistake Akechi made? What did he do?
He slipped up in regards to Morgana's voice.
You mean our cat?
Yeah. You may want to sit down. Well, the thing is, though, he's not going to be able to hear Morgana talk. He'll only hear meows, right?
Yes, Morgana can talk.
Oh, God. He's going to think we're nuts.
Sorry, was that supposed to be a joke?
Oh, our apologies. That's completely true. You surprised?
Now, will he actually hear Morgana talk, or is it just meow?
Does that mean he said something just now as well?
Yep.
But you don't understand him, do you? That's how it was for all of us at first, too.
When you're in the metaverse, Mona talks like a normal person. Once you hear that and your brain realizes he can actually talk, you start to understand him in reality. It's a change in cognition, most likely.
Thanks to Akechi's lame acting, we figured out something was up.
When we talked to Akechi at the school festival, he was acting like he just realized Mona could talk. But we already saw him drop a mega hint about it way earlier.
Oh, I know a place! I want to go to that huge pancake-looking place we passed on the way here!
Oh, am I mistaken? I thought I heard something about delicious pancakes.
Mona was the only one who was talking about a pancake. That meant Akechi'd already been in the metaverse by then.
And since he was lying to us about that, we assumed he had a hidden motive behind contacting us.
It seemed odd upon further thought. His reaction to my pancake comment was an honest one, after all.
We got lucky his story was too good. His story was pretty good.
He did approach us when we found ourselves in the worst trouble yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we asked Futaba-chan to wiretap his phone. I pretended to be interested in checking the phone out, but I was actually planting my app. My heart was pounding while I was doing it, though.
Even that ace detective could never have imagined a program being installed so quickly. Futaba's quirky nature proved to be a great help.
That was just an act!
No, it's part of your real personality. And you know what? That's fine. Being quirky is okay.
After a few days of listening, this confirmed his betrayal.
Then I'll guide the police into her palace and have them catch the Phantom Thieves in the act. That would be the only way to arrest them, given their methods. I'll deal with them after that. Let me see. We could say he stole the guard's gun and committed suicide during his imprisonment. How about that? Public security questioning will occur on the first day. And with that room, my task will be simple.
Between that and there's the stuff afterwards too.
Is this for real?
It is, unfortunately.
Yes, the guard will be one of ours. We'll have to eliminate him after to destroy the evidence, though.
So they planned to get rid of that guard from the beginning.
Well then, I will make the arrangements the day after the arrest. And thus, the dangerous criminal responsible for the mass mental shutdowns shall end his own life. When he does, You will become a great hero who saved Japan from evil. As will I, of course.
I knew he was acting strangely, but to think he was this far gone.
He's no ace detective. Akechi is the perpetrator behind the mental shutdown crimes.
Ace Defective? Yeah, let's call him Ace Defective.
On top of that, there's someone else commanding Akechi.
Mm-hmm.
Someone with great authority. So great that they can order an assassination in a police station. That's why we had to make a move before they did.
I see.
We baited Akechi into Sis's palace, making him dispose of our leader's fake, but think he killed him.
Can you elaborate on that in more detail? What exactly happened in my cognitive world?
Oh, there's a lot that happened there. Oh my gosh, you look so great. I love that hat on you. It was fantastic. It's just, too much eyeliner.
We're sorry for using you without your permission. Your palace had all the conditions we needed.
What conditions?
First, we required a place inside the cognitive world that was the same as in reality.
Mm-hmm.
That place is based on the real world after all. Anywhere that's not warped looks just like normal.
That's why nobody but the person who uses the nav even realizes they're in the metaverse.
Back with Kamoshida, we came in from the station without even noticing.
That brings back memories we had no idea. Not until we got to school. Not until we got to school.
You totally can't tell the difference if there ain't any distortions around.
Exactly.
We had already investigated Nijima-san's palace when Makoto brought the suggestion to us.
I was seriously impressed by that suggestion.
To be honest, I didn't quite understand it, but I went along with it.
It was a great idea. It was reckless. We had to trust it. It was a great idea.
Yeah, it's good we have her heading up our operations.
Makoto is normally so calm as well, but once her mind is set, she gets oddly impulsive.
I did have a bit of a rivalry forming with Akechi.
A bit? Seems more than that.
But I just couldn't contain myself anymore once you became a target, sis. The reason I joined the Phantom Thieves was to heal your heart, after all.
My own achievements were all that mattered to me. I was desperate. I wasn't myself at all. I'm sorry I couldn't see that.
That goes for the both of us.
We heard from Mako-chan that you were going to do the interrogation, Nijima-san.
And regarding its location, I take it you used the data from my laptop?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
There were two things we were able to confirm while we were checking the metaverse.
Oh my god, I love the little sketch.
First, our clothes didn't change when we were down in the interrogation room. Second, the scenery and details outside of the palace proper were the same as in the real world.
Once we heard that from Makoto, we secretly went to check it out without Akechi knowing.
There was also one more thing we absolutely needed to make this work. A perfect cognitive replica of him in the metaverse's interrogation room.
Since he had yet to be caught, though, there obviously wouldn't be anyone in that room.
Exactly. How'd
Once
they
we
get this
saw
done?
the casino guests and police officers, we were convinced this would work. They looked no different from actual living people.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we just had to work our way into the palace like usual, while keeping Akechi in the dark.
Everything went as planned up until we defeated Sis's shadow. However, it was then that we were met with a terrifying, unexpected police ambush. As a result, even though we managed to grab the treasure, we couldn't get it out of the metaverse. Except that was all an act.
Mm-hmm.
We had prepared an empty briefcase beforehand, and merely acted like we were taking the treasure.
Nicely played.
This was because we knew the police would be coming for us.
We made sure before the operation that the police would be waiting to ambush us. And just as expected, he totally took the bait.
The thing is, though, it sort of still surprises me that Akechi got caught off guard like this so
Him getting
much.
captured by the police went exactly how we planned it.
And I had been interrogating him with no knowledge of this. But how did you lure Akechi into this cognitive world's interrogation room?
All I needed were the coordinates.
It seems like she used this laptop to remotely access the metaverse. Asking her about it would drag the conversation on too long. I should talk to her later.
Akechi disposed of the fake in the palace and left thinking he had been victorious. It must have been truly hilarious for our leader who sat idly in the real world's interrogation room. Surely he was acting quite cocky by himself in that quiet chamber.
Could I imagine Ren doing this? Yes. Maybe?
So that's why you gave me your phone. I only took it because of what you told me.
That's the whole point.
It's a shame I didn't have the opportunity to see that for myself.
Well, you'll have to live with that disappointment. I couldn't see it either. There's no time. I'm just glad I didn't die. There was no time.
All I could do was try to handle all the messages that started coming to me on his phone. Huh. So in other words, I've been to the metaverse, albeit for a brief moment.
In our experience, there is little danger when someone enters their own palace for so short a time.
That's the other reason we had him give it to you. We needed you to listen to Alibaba, deceive the guard, and ultimately aid in his escape. By having you head back to the interrogation room, we could return you to the real world as well.
I mean, I had to think of some way to keep you from running into Akechi mid-assassination.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. Astounding. I hadn't the slightest idea that such a grand operation was taking place within me.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
I'm so glad he was able to persuade you during the interrogation. Even though we knew Akechi's plan, we were pretty worried about that part.
True.
Why is that?
Without Sis on our side, Futaba's plan and subsequent breakout would have never been possible. That persuasion was easily our greatest gamble. We couldn't consult Sis beforehand. It was absolutely the make or break moment of the entire plan.
Yeah, because if that didn't work, everything would have fallen apart.
Still, I'm surprised you could convince me in such a short time. Were you confident you could do it?
Don't remember drugs. Not how I was. I was.
I see.
I'm not going to be flippant on that last one.
Either way, I can't believe you went for such a risky idea.
If we could just tell you the true culprit's plan, I knew you'd realize the bigger picture. Realize that our leader was telling the truth, and that there was a greater evil to pursue.
As a result, we emerged victorious.
Then the reason you kept this a secret from me was so you could catch the true culprit, correct?
Right.
Yes. Plus, you had lost control of yourself at the time.
Oh, yeah. Are we going to let her know as to what her shadow self was like?
This is stunning. All I can really do is laugh.
Oh, yeah. If we had Yusuke paint a picture of what your shadow looked like, I think you'd probably laugh even more.
I've kind of figured out that you guys made Akechi kill a fake. But what did you do about the body?
It disappears.
The police never even checked it.
Huh?
They had a coroner working to ensure his death was reported as a suicide.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Silly me.
That coroner didn't take one look at the scene and just passed along a falsified death certificate.
The bad guys have that much influence?
Murder in a police station would be reckless otherwise. We also knew of a possible conspirator.
Thanks to Futaba-chan's messages and the guard's demeanor, I eventually came to understand. And since the higher-ups at the police knew nothing of this, they were thrown into disarray. As a result, his suicide during imprisonment was reported on the news, just as Akechi planned.
Mm-hmm.
And with that confusion, he was able to escape with Nijima-san's help.
I made sure nobody would check the morgue for his body, and thanks to that, nobody knows he survived.
Thinking back to the interrogation, though, I can't believe what they did to him.
It was chilling.
The callous use of violence and even drugs is utterly abnormal. If he had lost consciousness and hadn't been able to tell Sis about the phone, he would have died.
Yeah, that's true, but we had to go through all this, and we knew that they were very shady and underhanded already. Just goes to show as well as to how strong Ren is. Holy crap.
I'm truly glad you made it back safe.
It was close. I don't remember much. It was a breeze. It was close.
I almost became one of your assailants as well.
It still freaked me out when I saw the suicide on the news, though.
Yeah, it would freak me out too.
We made sure to live normal lives while he was being interrogated to avoid drawing any suspicion.
I still can't believe that you're still with that other guy. That arranged marriage is still going on now. Can't we just get rid of...
Even with that, I couldn't help but worry for him in my heart.
Well, I knew right away that her plan worked out.
I wanted to believe, but considering what we were up against...
Ryuji's a bit on the dense and carefree side.
Ow.
Can it, cat?
Oh, it's been a while since I've heard those two throwing barbs at one another.
I had to be patient and avoid this place until things settled down. I finally feel relieved.
We knew he was alive, but it was difficult to not worry until we could confirm it in person.
Still want to tap me on the shoulder to realize I'm still there?
Now that I think about it, my interrogation was just a formality for the head commander. What a joke, letting me interrogate someone who was meant to die. They just wanted to avoid backlash. Very well. From here forward, I will do my utmost to assist you.
Well, I already had her rank 10, but just hearing that verbally from her just really helps.
You saved me, after all.
And there's other people we still need saved too. I wonder if there's a way for us to save Akechi. Yes, he needs to be brought to justice, but I don't know if there's a way that we can potentially save him.
That's reassuring to hear.
Here I am saying, can I actually save him when I haven't really trusted this smarmy ass? But gosh darn it, he's charming.
I'll do whatever I can to help too.
Yay!
Just let me know.
Sojiro!
Let's take a break for now, though. This old brain is pooped.
Yes, curry. And coffee. Now.
Oh, and feel free to use the first floor when you guys want to get together to talk.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You'll need a hideout where you can be safe. Just say the word, and I'll close shop early.
So what's going to be the word that we need to hideout? Guys, put a thought in the comments. What would you think that the special word should be?
Are you sure?
This guy can't leave. Plus, you won't make much progress if people can hear you from downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this place is the liveliest joint in town. It won't be a huge loss for me.
Oh, Sojiro, I just want to give you a big, huge hug. Is he going to make curry?
Let us accept his offer. What a great man.
I want curry. The summary of the story up to this point has been updated. To read, press Y to open the menu, then select Story from under the System option. Shido!
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. He's the guy you had the run-in years ago. Well, not years ago, but earlier on.
It's me, Akechi.
Enter.
That's the death certificate of the principal offender, correct? Is there a problem with it?
Oh!
No, nothing in particular. More importantly, you've done well with regard to the prosecutors.
The cause of death for the SIU director has been settled as a stroke.
Considering his age, I don't think people would be questioning it that much.
I had him work quite substantially on forging evidence.
Yeah, that's the reason why you had to get rid of him. Well, that and the fact you just don't want to have any... You figure that he's outlived his usefulness, so may as well just off him, right?
His loss should be mourned.
It was thanks to his efforts that I could enter the Phantom Thieves' interrogation room, too.
The SIU is in disarray with his death. I'll take my time choosing a successor after the elections.
Mm-hmm. Akechi, don't feel safe. This guy is probably gonna off you too.
At any rate, I'm now praised as a hero, and I owe it all to the Phantom Thieves.
All possible hindrances are now gone. There's no doubt that this election is mine.
We knew that this was something you're working for a while now anyway. Again, Akechi, don't have any thoughts you're safe.
House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
Discussion is swirling around potential nominees as the deadline for candidacy announcement nears. Candidates will announce on the 23rd of this month, while voting will be held on the 18th of next.
All right. Considering the mentioned dates, I'm going to guess that effective the 23rd, I'm going to be able to... I'm guessing at that point, that's when I'm going to be entering Shido's palace. And then I have to finish it up by the 18th.
Elections, huh? Don't matter to us. It's not like we can vote in him yet anyways.
It's important because Shido's involved.
Why don't we resume our conversation?
Well, the Phantom Thieves are back together. We can finally take it to Akechi and the bastard backing him.
Oh, that's probably going to mean that we're going to be fighting him in Shido's palace too.
Have you
if not before.
Who's behind all this?
Shido.
Akechi accidentally let that slip after the murder. He said, Shido-san.
Mm-hmm.
Shido? Feels like I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, he's a politician.
He is unmistakably a man of power if he has such strong connections to the police.
You guys don't know who Shido is? That's rather surprising, considering that he's been making speeches and all that other stuff for the various little things that people do when they're trying to go up for elections and the like. But considering they're students and they mention, Ryuji mentioned, we don't need to worry about that. Just makes me think that they don't keep up to speed in regards to government and politics. Well, that's not necessarily something I don't think a lot of people do, especially younger folks, so they don't really have to vote.
Shido? Could it be Masayoshi Shido?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Yeah, there we go. That's another thing's like, okay, yeah, these kids don't keep up as to what's going on.
I believe he's a politician. Remember, Ryuji? You said his speech was too loud.
Exactly.
For real?
Uh-huh.
It's certainly possible that Shido is the mastermind.
Huh?
Do you have some kind of evidence?
Well, Futaba does.
Nothing
well,
material.
The voice
However, there
you
are
heard.
various conditions which align with that possibility. First, he would profit from damage done to the current administration by the psychotic breakdowns. He's maintained a negative stance toward the Phantom Thieves and has gained tremendous popularity.
And he is more to be... And the people seem to be gravitating towards him.
On top of that, he'll most likely become the next prime minister if he wins this upcoming election.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Did he set us up with that election in mind?
Yeah.
If he is behind all this, that would be in stark opposition to his honest public image.
I know, but the thing is, though, if he stays... If he can't necessarily be connected to it, nobody will really realize that, and he'll keep his squeaky clean image.
So his current position and popularity is just him benefiting from the mental collapses.
We'll make him have a change of heart, no matter what it takes.
Mom.
Shido, huh?
What is the matter?
You realize the connection that he has with Ren.
I had a feeling he was wrapped up in all this, just based on the connections I had from my previous job.
Yeah, because you used to work in government.
I think the one who crushed Wakaba's research and confiscated her materials was probably Shido. From the moment Wakaba died, I had a hunch he was involved. But there wasn't anything I could do, so I chose to protect Futaba and went into hiding.
Why didn't you say that sooner?
It's not something he can necessarily prove.
You guys would have definitely gone after him if I had.
That too. And honestly, we weren't necessarily prepared at that point.
He would have just killed all of you, no doubt. That's what he usually does to people who get in his way.
Originally, I was looking into the mental shutdown cases. It was then that I accidentally stumbled upon government research regarding the psychotic breakdowns. So I tracked down the whereabouts of that research data and met with the associated parties. Boss was one of those parties. I would never have imagined all of this was connected. The mental shutdowns, psychotic breakdowns, Shido, and even the Phantom Thieves' actions.
Way back when, Shido kept saying he was going to be Prime Minister one day. Nobody believed him, though.
What's going to happen to this country if Shido becomes Prime Minister? What about the world?
If he has the power of the metaverse, he could do anything he freaking wants.
The issue is simpler than that. This is nothing more than yet another selfish adult trying to impose his will on the public.
Hasn't that always been the case, though?
We gotta expose that rotten bastard!
Yeah, we'll do it like always.
We'll stop the rotten adults.
Then let's check the nav.
Masayoshi Shido, the guy running for Prime Minister. Got a hit! Well, duh. It ain't a surprise he has one.
Exactly. So I wonder what his palace is gonna look like.
Where would the location be?
What kind of things go through a politician's head?
I always think of dirty money and shady actions.
What does he do? And where? We don't got a clue about this guy's life.
His palace must be somewhere that politicians frequent. Any ideas?
Diet building, a fancy restaurant, election headquarters. Well, if he's a politician, yeah, it'd be the diet building. We did meet him at a fancy restaurant, though. Election headquarters, that's a possibility, too. Diet building?
We got a hit!
How arrogant must he be to see himself as the ruler of the diet building?
Our next target's the big shot politician Masayoshi Shido. We're gonna do this, right?
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, though, yeah, what about Akechi? Thing is, though, we've got to deal with this gentleman because he's the one who is going after trying to be the head of Japan. Although Akechi does need to be dealt with too. We have to.
Hell yeah! Nobody against it?
Of course!
He will be a worthy opponent.
Let's win this together.
Besides, I figure that during this palace, we're going to be seeing Akechi.
Time for revenge. Then it's unanimous.
All we gotta do now is figure out what he thinks that diet building place is.
That would be a good question.
So that's the app that allowed me to enter the metaverse.
An old fart like me can't wrap his head around all this stuff.
Hey, one old fart to another. We'll manage.
We'll have to deal with this before Election Day, December 18th. That means we need it done by the 17th.
We have enough time.
It's best we hurry before they discover there's no body in the morgue.
Should we start tomorrow then? We can meet at the diet building after school.
Oh, initial investigation.
That reminds me. What are you gonna do about school?
Oh yeah, good
Can't show up
point.
if
Well,
you're
I'll
supposed
have
to
to
be
stay
dead.
here. I'll have to stay here. I really have no other choice.
Miss Kawakami said he went back home for family reasons.
That's what I told
Oh.
the school.
Don't let him find out you're alive then, alright? This whole thing would be for nothing.
So I'm stuck here for the next little bit.
What do you mean?
This operation had another purpose outside of escaping Akechi's clutches. Shido tried to place all the blame on the Phantom Thieves and deceive the public at the same time. He has ruined countless lives, and even made Goro Akechi, a student, assist him with assassinations. A mere change of heart is too lenient a sentence for such an abominable criminal.
We'll be making use of the police statement that the leader of the Phantom Thieves committed suicide. Our leader, who is presumed dead, will come out of hiding to deliver a grand statement.
Nice.
He'll say he has escaped prison, not committed suicide, and was in fact almost killed by a criminal.
Everyone's gonna flip.
Oh, yeah.
You guys thought through all this stuff too?
We're intellectuals, you know.
Well, some of you are. You're not one of them, Ryuji.
That's why you needed such a daring trick as getting captured and appearing to be killed. What frightening teenagers.
But the true battle has only just begun. We won the first round, but we must stay on our toes.
Yeah, this ain't the time to be celebrating.
These people tried to trap and kill us. There is no end to their inhuman, conniving nature. We will need to be prepared for whatever may come our way.
So we gotta prepare a lot.
I finally made it this far. It's already been 2.5 years since we met.
2.5 years already. Wow, they've been collaborating for a while.
Back then, you were in the media's attention as a young politician who could rise up against bureaucracy. Because of that, those who wanted to preemptively deal with problems tried to tie you up in scandal.
To think I would fall for the ruse schemed by those decrepit fools in power. I recall that's when you came to me. You promoted yourself saying you had special powers.
Which he did, but how long has Akechi been able to go into the metaverse?
If it wasn't for the research on cognition that I dabbled in, I would have thought you insane.
I made those troublesome opponents psychotic, and erased any trace of that scandal.
Who'd think that tampering with a person's heart could trigger a psychotic lapse or mental shutdown?
You know what? I was sort of worried as to how Shido would potentially make Akechi disappear. Akechi could technically make Shido disappear.
And when someone like that said he'd support me, I had suspected there'd be an ulterior motive.
It's because I sympathized with your aspiring ideology. I believed that your ideals needed to be achieved for the sake of the country's future.
Well, my faith in you was precisely why I pulled the plug on that research. I only need you using that power. It'd be troublesome if someone else uncovered how it works.
Well, thankfully it did, but I'm still frustrated and upset that you went after Wakaba.
Wakaba Ishiki, was it? That researcher. She wouldn't have had to die if she just complied.
Hell no.
Any suspicions should be snubbed out. Even the smallest doubt must be severed at the root. After all, we had an active public prosecutor's office director on our side until recently.
And just suddenly that position opened up. Oh hell, I hope you're not going to put a No, you wouldn't put Akechi in there. You'd probably put some other pawn in there they could easily control.
Astounding, isn't it? To think the director himself often forged evidence to secure his promotion. He was quite surprised when you confronted him about it. He didn't know who leaked that information.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got that out of his shadow, so technically speaking, he did it himself.
This country's affairs have become stagnant. The political world is filled with old men who only act to preserve their own vested interests.
It's scary to think as to how similar this is to the real world.
The general public has forsaken such political affairs and don't even bother. Only ruin awaits us.
again, eerily scary to today's world.
I must agree.
To some degree.
There's no need to be ruined along with such incompetent fools. I will lead this country to its revival. Those who get in the way must be eliminated at times. That's the correct way to use the metaverse.
No.
Still, it would stand out if there were continuous deaths and scandals with your political rivals. Which is why I made them suspects. Prosecute the targets that I turn psychotic, and solve them as cases unrelated to you. And thus, the charismatic ace detective was born.
Thanks to your efforts, my clean image remains untarnished, and I've monopolized public opinion.
You guys been working so well together for so freaking long.
Once I gained public sentiment, collaborators from all sectors began approaching me on their own. The police were no exception. With their management in my pocket, keeping them in check was easy.
When the Phantom Thieves emerged, I thought things might become somewhat troublesome.
I know, but you dealt with them, didn't you?
And they were just brats once we looked into it. All we needed to do was lay the blame on them.
When you told me that, I knew then that you were the better man.
Their popularity was a bit beyond my expectations, but flipping it made the negative press stronger. After that, all I had to do was openly berate them. I've been gaining more supporters since. The current administration is dead with ongoing scandals. Never mind the fact that they're my doing. Even the government parties have begun splitting up, and they're dissolving just as planned.
And then the people just see the one person that could guide them.
Just a little more, and I will take the seat of Prime Minister. However, inauguration isn't my goal. That's when everything truly begins. I'll make this country rich for the sake of its selfish and ignorant masses who can only rely on others.
In other words, you're creating a powerful country that can compete with the world.
The public resonates with my ideals and follows me. And for that, some sacrifices can't be avoided.
I just wonder as to when you're potentially going to see Akechi as your next sacrifice.
That is my duty as the chosen one. Your assistance has been very influential in making my plans proceed smoothly.
Just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
When I become Prime Minister, I'll grant whatever wish you want.
With this most recent case, my name has become known across the country, perhaps even the world. Surely my story will be passed down as a hero who won against monsters that could control people's hearts. I believe I'll lay low and devote myself to my studies.
I suppose with your age, you wouldn't come up with debauched desires.
I am thinking about the future, though.
I wonder what kind of future that you want for yourself. Thank you for watching the video today. I do appreciate it. If you can, leave a like as it does help, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. A huge thank you to my supporters, and if you'd like to help the channel, please feel free to visit the links in the description below and become a member. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye!